Get your copy of Procrastination on newsstands whenever.
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker? Send in the clowns.
Okay, so here's the thing. Joker is an Elseworld movie. What is Elseworld? Elseworld is movies, stories that do not connect directly to DC main canon. For example, there is an Elseworld story called Red Sun. And there's another Elseworld story called Generations, Superman, Batman Generations, which had things like Superman's son was born without powers, and he became very envious of his superpowered sibling and its family, and he joined Lex Luthor and became a villain, and there's a whole, kind of stuff like that. So this is Elseworld, which means that it can take certain liberties and be different and say what it needs to say without it affecting Robert Pattinson's Batman or any Jokers that we would have seen in like Suicide Squad or anything of the sort. This is not main canon. This is a whole other universe. When word broke that they were planning on doing a Joker standalone movie, actually remember there was meant to be two Joker standalone movies. There's one in the Elseworld, and then one that kind of filters into the DC universe with Jared. That was the original plan. That was the original plan from forever ago. And then we heard, oh no, it's an Elseworld story, and it's an origin story. There were a lot of people who were a little bit hesitant, let's use the word hesitant, about that. Do we need a Joker story? Do we need a Joker standalone story? Joker is one of those characters who, because of his mystery, because of his mysterious background, relatively mysterious background, he is that enigma. And so he's one of the most iconic villains because of that. You don't really need to unravel. It's kind of like when Uncle George went back and decided to tell us that the Force is not just the Force, it has midi-chlorians. Nobody cared. Nobody needed to know, well, I can't say nobody cared, but nobody really needed to know whether or not that was a real thing. The Force is the Force is the Force. And I feel the same thing with the Joker. So there was a measure of hesitation. And then Todd Phillips released this.
I should laugh, but I cry, because your love has passed me by. You took me by surprise. I didn't realize that you were laughing.
And suddenly we were all a little bit more on board. We were a little bit more like, maybe we do need a Joker movie. Maybe we do need to see, this particular take on it, and I wonder what it's going to be like. I'm certainly more intrigued. I want this now. All coming out of like, a 10-second, 15-second screen test. And then the trailers started to show, and the trailers were different, and you kind of really liked what you were seeing in trailers. But if it's anything that we know about the movie industry, sometimes you get a really good trailer, Suicide Squad, and really good pictures and vibes, Suicide Squad, and then the movie comes out, Suicide Squad, and you have to wonder, what the heck did I just watch? But I went on opening night, which again, I went on opening night to see Joker, and I have to tell you, it is one of the most breathtakingly dark and disturbing and glorious films that has ever been made. Okay, that might be an overpromise. So let's say it's one of the better films that I have seen in modern cinema. I am one of those people who loves their Starburst, Skittles comic book films. I love it. I will play in that world. I will dress up to go to the cinema for that world. But I also like dark and gritty without, this is going to sound weird, but dark and gritty without depressing. Now, Joker could be depressing in terms of, oh God, I mean, the story doesn't end with like happiness and joy and light. But I mean depressing in the sense of Batman versus Superman. Batman v Superman was dark and gritty and also depressing, but it got to me because like Superman standing up and telling Lois Lane, I guess no one stays good in this world, is something that is so, for me, anti-Superman. I mean, he's had his moments of depression and questioning himself and all of that, but oh my goodness, that is a whole other level. Here in Joker, it is dark, it is disturbing, it has all of that, but it also separates itself from the clutter of the usual Starburst, Skittles, fun-loving, Space is Glorious and Wonderful comic book movies uh, that we have gotten in both houses, But when the opening credits come on, and you know it has that old 1980s, late 70s, early 80s flair. The streets of Gotham has that grimy uh, 80s New York look where there's like piles and piles of garbage and super rats infesting, and it's just so deliciously old world and Scorsese-esque. There are two films that everybody keeps referring to it being. One is Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. I haven't seen Taxi Driver. I have no memory of really seeing Taxi Driver. I know it, but I have no memory of seeing it. However, King of Comedy, yes. And it's kind of interesting because in King of Comedy, Robert De Niro basically takes over a studio, a late night talk show host, and he holds everybody, hostage. He holds them hostage so that he can do his comedy set. He gets arrested, and becomes like the sensation. And this is the end of the movie. But it's, for me, it's more, it is King of Comedy, but it's also Falling Down with Michael Douglas. It has that kind of vibe. And it also leaves you questioning whether or not it is reality or if it's all in Arthur's head. And if you haven't seen it, when you go see it, you will understand what that means. I'm in the camp of this is all reality. And in that light, therein lies the Joker. Therein lies how it shines out as a Joker movie. The Joker once said in Killing Joke, I think it is, that all it takes is one bad day to turn anybody, around. And that is true for Arthur Fleck. Sidebar, I kind of laughed when I found out the name of the character because Arthur Fleck, A Fleck, Affleck. I was like, I wonder if they were throwing shade on Ben. I wasn't sure. But yeah, for Arthur, he's had a lifetime of bad days. And it really manifests in this character that he takes on. And the more he lets that character take over and Arthur himself goes to the background, the more Joker that you see. Joaquin Phoenix is very physical. He's very real. He's very in that zone. And to be honest with you, it's one of those things where the film ends and I'm like, I hope he's able to detox the Joker out of him. Her role is small, but whenever she's on screen, there is a great deal of light that counters with his internal darkness. There's a twist that happens in the film, and when it happens, you realize, oh my God, okay. But I really, really liked the balance that she provided, and that was glorious to watch. It was fantastic. The score. The score is deliciously haunting. I was contemplating because I'm a soundtrack guy. I love scores. I was legitimately contemplating whether or not I wanted to go get it, and I'm not sure yet. I really am not sure yet, but it is that good, and it is that worthwhile. Let me put this out there. Arthur is no hero. I mean, a lot of people, I've seen some things online and people are querying whether or not, oh my God, you know, is this like an incel alt-right film that, is like a rallying cry to these people? No, I don't think so. I mean, we live in a world where mental inefficiencies is used as an excuse for a guy who shoots up a mall or shoots up a school or does anything like that. They say, oh, well, this poor Caucasian boy has mental issues. Yes, that is an excuse that people uses. And make no mistake, Arthur does do quite a bit of villainous things. I don't think this is a flag-waving movie for them. On the contrary, to be honest with you, tiny spoiler. The first bunch of people he kills kind of follows the incel logic. And when, he does what he does, he's not at at the middle of it, he's not trying to be the leader of any movement. He just wants people to get the joke. And that's the thing for me with the Joker. The Joker as an entity is a guy who, yes, he is brilliant, but his brilliance comes from A, chaos, and B, wanting everybody to get this joke. Your life is an actual joke. Let me show you how. Let me show you how much of a joke it is. And so he goes on this rampage. He does all these weird and ridiculous things, and downright evil things. What do I mean by that? A few of my adult friends, I look at them, and they like the current crop of films. But for them, it's still a lot of, okay, you know what, I'll take the kids to go see it, or I'll take my little brother to go see it, my little sister to go see it. But they don't feel invested in it. Or they don't feel invested in it that much, as opposed to this movie where you can you can feel the adultness coming through, which is interesting because Deadpool is also rated R, and Deadpool, for all intents and purposes, is an adult superhero by very nature of what he is and how he does and how he operates. He deals with adult subject matter as well. But it's still, haha, middle of the road, kidsy kind of something. We don't want kids to go see Deadpool, and you really must not bring your kids to see Joker. But there is more of an adult vibe here. The closest thing for me is Logan. Logan had that end of the line, strip away everybody kind of vibe, and left you with this adult story of these two characters, Professor Xavier and Logan, still trying to figure out their own relationships and their own stories, and then throw in the idea of him having a daughter. Do we need more films like this Joker? Not necessarily. I have this personal fear that now that Warner Brothers has seen, ooh, this brings money, because all studios like money. I mean, let's be honest, studios are not charitable organizations. They're not non-profit organizations. They like money. I'm afraid that they will look at it and think, we should do more like this. And then there is the rumor of them doing a standalone President Lex movie, which I would be on board for 100%. But I don't think that this needs to be the only direction for a Warner Brothers DC movie. I think we still need the fun-loving Birds of Prey, which may very well be rated R, to be honest. You need a Booster Gold movie. I want to see Green Lantern and Green Arrow doing a team-up. I want more Man of Steel, more Superman films. We need the Wonder Woman. You need the different pockets. You need that kind of stuff. So I don't want only dark, hard R, gritty things. I need more Shazam as well. You might leave the cinema feeling, but I think cinema is meant to do that. I really do. I feel like maybe it's possible. I'm not going to go down the Martin Scorsese route that says modern cinema is, not cinema. But I think we've reached a place in cinema where cinema is very safe. You know that this brand is going to give you X, Y, and Z, and I get that. You're spending money to go into a cinema screen. You want to make sure that there is a definite, almost 75% and higher feeling that you can vibe this movie. But cinema should still take risks. Joker is a risk that paid off. It paid off really well. So that's me, guys, from a relatively undisclosed location. Go see the Joker. Enjoy it. Like yourself. And I would definitely recommend seeing it a few times if you can. Go through hard.